Every workshop needs clamps. It's one of those things like you never have enough of. You need clamps for holding anything together you're gluing, and really a lot of times just when you're screwing things together, it's useful to have clamps to hold it together. That's what this is. This is a clamp rack that'll hold 8 clamps in slots here. That's like the long bar clamps, and then you can put smaller clamps elsewhere. So we're going to go ahead and build this. So the first thing I want to do is draw that line, 1 3/4 inches from the edge. And this is important to give ourselves enough room back behind here for clamp bodies if we have some large clamps like the kind that design that are wider where they'll sit on the workbench and hold themselves up. Those are really nice clamps, okay? So I've just given proof to the rule, measure twice, cut once, because I realized I was measuring it wrong. So if we start over again, this first one we know we're 1 3/4 from the edge, so that's here. Now to keep myself from messing up again, I'm going to go ahead and move my 0 to that point. I'm going to work from that because everything else is 2.5 inches, okay? So I go 2.5 inches and then 5 inches and then 7.5 inches. I've gone ahead and chucked up a 1/2 inch brad point drill bit in my drill press, and you could use any 1/2 inch drill bit. I've chosen to use a brad point because it centers very well and it'll give me a good clean cut with very little tear out on the bottom side. With those drilled out, we're back to laying out because we've got to cut the lines out to the edge here. All I have to do that is take a square, draw the lines in going from the edge of the holes that I just existed to the edge. Now with those laid out, I can cut it out with whatever saw I've got available, a band saw or a scroll saw or a jigsaw. Okay, so what do you do if your cuts don't come out nice and clean? You know, I never expect a saw cut to be final, okay? Yeah, you can sometimes get them good. A lot of that depends on how good a project you're trying to do. Now, this is a shop fixture, so it's not that important, but, you know, if you practice trying to get things really good on the things that don't have to be, i.e. shop fixtures, then when you need your stuff to be really good, you'll be ready. The other parts on this project that need some special layout are the 2 sides. They're exactly the same. So you notice they've got an angled cut here. That's more than we can do on the table saw or the radial arm saw. So we'll need to lay that out and cut it some other way, either with a jigsaw or the band saw. Really can't use the big shop tools for that. So we're going to come up 11 3/8 of an inch from the bottom, and we want 3 3/4 from this edge. That's our cut line right there. Now, there's a couple different ways we can cut this. One is to use a handheld jigsaw. Another one is to use a handheld circular saw. You can have the same problem with either one of those saws, and that is trying to stay right on that line. So let me show you a little different way to cut that line. As a general rule of thumb, if you want a straight cut, you don't want to depend on your eye and your hand. You want to depend on something that's straight. So that means a straight edge, whether that be a ruler of some sort or a piece of off-cut wood that you know is straight because you've compared it either to a straight edge or to your bench top, like I have with this one. Because this is a small piece, I really can't clamp this with clamps, because if I put the clamps there, then if they're hanging off this side, then they get in the way of my saw. If they're hanging off that side, I can't clamp that down, so that gives me a bit of a problem. So I'm going to use my standby clamp. Now I've already measured the distance from my blade to the edge of the shoe here. I know that's 1 inch. I've gone ahead and here's my line. I've drawn a couple little tick marks that show me where that 1 inch is. Tear myself off a piece of masking tape. This is a standby clamp for whenever other clamps won't work. I highly recommend keeping some in your workshop. I use it all the time. Maybe not all the time, but a lot of times, okay? And we'll take our piece of wood, line it up with the 2 tick marks. Okay, so now I know I've got a straight reference edge, and as long as I can keep my saw shoe right up to that, I'll have a straight cut. To make that a little easier, I'm going to go ahead and clamp this down to my bench top with a couple of holdfasts. Now that piece of 3/4 inch plywood was a little heavy for my cordless saw, so that's why it kept stopping on me. But as you can see, I got a nice clean cut. The same trick will work with a jigsaw. It's easier with a circular saw, but it'll work with a jigsaw too, and you'll get a straight cut every time. Okay, we're just about ready to start assembling our clamp rack. Done a couple things off camera, drilled a couple little holes, taken a couple of measurements, made some marks, but that's about it. This particular project is assembled with pocket holes, and to do pocket holes you need a pocket hole jig. Now there are several on the market. This particular one is made by Craig. It is not the lowest end one, and it's not the highest end one. It's like one step up from the low end. It's essentially we could call it the better home workshop one, okay? Going up from here, the next one up would probably be something you would use more in a cabinet shop, like if you're doing production work. So what is a pocket hole, first of all? All right, I've got a little sample I've made here where I put a pocket hole together and then taking the screws out and cut it apart. And what we're doing is we're creating a pocket for the screw to go in so that the screw will not be visible from the surface. Now, this is really useful in a lot of places where you may need to join two wood together like that, or even like that, and you don't want any sort of hardware visible. An obvious place for that would be like cabinet facing. You know, if you look at your kitchen cabinets, you've got a frame around the door that the door is mounted to. Well, somehow you've got to take and do a butt joint there, but still make it strong. Now, the old way would be to use a mortise and tenon. Somebody came up with the idea of the pocket hole as an easier way of assembling it. Okay, doing a mortise and tenon takes some skill and some practice. Doing a pocket hole, well, it's actually pretty easy. The idea is that the hole is always drilled from the non-visible sides. If I was doing this pocket hole and this was a piece of a cabinet facing, this would be the inside, or I should say this side would be the inside, where people aren't going to be able to see it, not the outside. But let's say you do it on the outside. Okay, so here's another pocket hole drilled into a piece of wood. I've gone ahead and stained this dark so you can see where the hole is. And this is a piece of 3/8 inch dowel rod, and that just slips right in there. And then once that's glued, that could be flush cut and sanded, and they're making a very effective plug. So how do we use this tool? The idea is that we first need to mark where we want to put our holes, okay? The drawings don't give us dimensions, and they aren't really that critical. But here's what I did. On the top shelf, or the top in the shelf, I've gone ahead and made my lines 1.5 inches from the edge. That's pretty good. That splits up the area nicely. For the back, I also went 1.5 inches from the edges, but I had to add 2 more in, and it turns out that the space between those two tick marks, or those 2 lines, is 15 inches, so I just divided it in thirds. So I've got 1.5 inches, 5 inches, 5 inches, 5 inches, 1.5 inches. So you don't have to do it that way. That's the way I did it. Now I'm going to drill this hole down till I hit my stop, okay? Now I'm going to move over and do the same thing on the other hole. So this end piece will be on here, and this can be attached like this, okay? I've got my pocket screws. Now you use special screws for this, okay? They're kind of a washer head screw with a coarse thread, which holds really well. They're also a thread cutting screw, so that's part of why we don't have to put a pilot hole in. They come in different sizes, and you have to make sure you use the right size for the thickness of the material you're working with. And I've got a long square bit that came with the set, okay? You can buy those separately, but that came with the set, and that's the way it's going to be attached together. I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on here. I'm sure that these pocket screws will hold this together even without the glue. There's no such thing as making something too strong. Okay, so I've got that piece ready, and now I'm going to take my end. Now remember, the hole is always drilled in the piece that's going into the other one, okay? I've got my hole there. You could line this up with a corner clamp, and that might actually be better. As you can see, I've got both the sides attached. Anytime you're trying to do something standing up on edge and connecting it, it's tricky. You're best off if you can find some way of clamping it, okay? I tried to do it without clamping it. That was a mistake, okay? So now we've got our shelves that go in. You can see I've got the holes in here for the pocket screws. We are ready to screw this in. Because it's a tight fit, it's a little tricky to put glue on the ends, but I'm going to go ahead and put a bead of glue down here on where the back of it is. Before I start to screw in, I'm going to put a square here so I can make sure I got my shelf lined up. Nice snug fit. They're cut the same size, so it should be. And I'll be doing the same thing here. Okay, the only thing we've got left to do is put in these 2 little support pieces for the rack, the hanger portion of our rack. Now these don't get put in with pocket screws, they get put in with normal, everyday, ordinary wood screws. And I'm using a 1 1/4 inch long wood screws for this. and we'll just drive them in with a Phillips bit and our driver. So there we have it, our finished clamp rack. We can put clamps here. We can even attach some clamps here and here, maybe put some things on the shelf. Gives us a fair amount of room. You could always build a longer one. You know, just take the same design and extend it longer yourself if that's what you want. You know, you never have clamps, and having some place to keep them hung on the wall is not only a time-tested method, but it gets them out of your way instead of cluttering up your workbench. So why not try it yourself? Get yourself a pocket hole jig. Try making a rack like this. I'm sure if you get that jig, you're going to find a lot of other places where it's useful.